Now here's the thing, I've said a number of times on this channel that if I was doing this again, I wouldn't probably cut the fiberglass away in quite the way that I did. Now there's a tube that I was putting it work on the back seat area, and I thought that's going to make a horrible racket. And there's a tube that runs right across here, and if you see, there's also a strip of fiberglass. And if you look underneath, you can actually see that originally it was riveted every few inches between the back panel and this tube. However, where are the rivets? You can't see them because they've been fiberglassed over. So I've set about doing kind of what I said I would, and I've started to chisel off these bits of additional strip of fiberglass, and I've found so far just one rivet. So I'm going to guess there's another one about here, another one here or so, and all the way along. So I'm not quite sure why Gilban thought it was necessary to fiberglass over the rivet heads, unless it was some kind of concern that water might get in from the spray around the back axle. Don't really know, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense to me, but whatever. I'm going to have to replace the rivets, and I'll replace them, and I will not be covering them up with fiberglass. There's a bit of a gap, you might have noticed, but I've got a piece of rubber strip I can put in there. So anyway, I shall now see if I can remove more of this fiberglass strip. So my point really is to say that a piece of fiberglass like this, which are not part of the main structure of the main panel here, added on, they're quite not too bad to get rid of or remove. And this of course is what I should have done when separating all these panels previously. Pulled them apart. Yeah, and here I think there was a rivet head there for a moment. Did you see it? But anyway, there's certainly a hole where a rivet was. And yeah, interestingly rusty. So I reckon actually water has been getting through here, or getting into here perhaps I should say. But that strip is coming off quite nicely. I'm quite impressed by that one. That's clearly been having little rusty water in it. It weren't particularly evenly spaced when looked at from below, but that's definitely two. There must be one here, there's another one here and here, I think. So let's get the rest of them wherever they are. At least we know the row. It's going to be under here. So what's this? Right. It's got to be around here somewhere. I might have to go under to see if I can spot it. Oh, interesting. Some random holes here. So obviously put the rivet in the wrong place to start with. Yeah, I'll go see if I can see it from below. Rivet that's about here somewhere. Mind you, is it going to be any more accurate than doing what I'm doing? going to have a look from underneath. So I've actually measured underneath from here to the next one. It's going to be around about there. Right, shall I go and go? So these are 3, and I guess there's 2 more. Might as well measure them too. Right, that's that one, and there's another one round about there. Now I don't have to replicate these precisely, but I think that needs to go up a bit, doesn't it? But yeah, so anyway, I shall replace these rivets, if not with the same, then very similar. So let's see if I can get some more of that over matting off, which will smooth out the back seat. Get rid of this water ingress situation. Yeah, I think the car needs inner wheel arches at the back, you know. This is not really acceptable, having this amount of spray that's obviously been coming up here. Anyway, I'll go and get the light. Okay then, so I reckon there's one in here. Ah, yeah, there it is. So my point here really is that all these joining sections, which you also see over here and various places, I could have used the same technique to separate the individual panels from each other rather than cutting them, and then I could have reassembled them in the same way. So this is my kind of underlying point really. Anyway, I'll keep chiseling away until I've found the others. There's my rivet. Rivet head, I should say. There should be one in there somewhere too. Yeah, there it is. Another rivet. And I think that's the other one. In here, and there should be one over here somewhere too, and that would be the lot. Yep, here it is, the last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rivets. And what we can also do is basically smooth out this fiberglass panel. These are the access hatches to the coilovers, by the way, in case you were wondering. You can see one in there. So they have to stay removable in case I ever want to take the coilover out. But then we can smooth it out. And I shall replace these rivets with some big head rivets and do something about this disaster, and particularly that's particularly horrible. I had to repair this tube behind and basically welded up all the holes and so on in it. The top tube was actually completely replaced. Anyway, that's history. I'm just smoothing out this fiberglass matting, which is rough side up is always a little bit, I don't know, aesthetically displeasing. So I've been using my sanding block, some coarse paper to kind of smooth it off a bit. Right, okay, so that was that. Now I've got to remove these rivets. Well, there's only two, but anyway, I've got to remove them. Yep, that's that one. Year-old rivets, which nevertheless stick on the end of my drill bit. But I think that's it actually. So now I've got to see about replacing them. Also got to check whether they are truly in the right position. This one over here looks a bit low to me. So that's, oh, I can see daylight through here. Oh. That's another one. Right, there it goes. Now I've got two stuck on my drill. So this is the noise which I want to prevent. Can you imagine how that's going to vibrate as this back panel vibrates? And that's why this needs fixing on particularly. And having looked at the holes, I'd say they're all right. This one over here is a bit low. This one also a bit low. So I might come up a little bit with that one. Obviously this business over here needs to be sorted out as well. So there's no compulsion to use the same holes. In fact, it might be better not to, actually, thinking about it. Let's see. Yeah, I've got a feeling those holes over here, if I use them, need to go up. Yeah, basically they're not on a very straight line at all, are they? Yeah, so these ones are a bit low, so is that one. These ones are dodgy, even that one's a little bit low, so I shall have to sort that out. I have these big head rivets, but to be honest, I mean, they're probably alright, but the holes are a bit large, aren't they? So I might be better off just drilling new holes and blocking these ones up. Yeah, but on the, especially that one, where there's some bodgery from years ago, that's going to need to be blocked up. Yeah, some fiberglass patching is going to be needed. So that one is obviously no good, and these ones over here are getting close to the bottom of that tube, so I'm not really happy to use them either. It's a bit of a loose fit. And that one's very loose. I mean, it's a big head, so it could be alright. Or maybe I should just block the whole lot up. Yes, don't know. Another issue is the fact that the tube behind there is square, but as you see the back is sloping, so there's a bit of an angle business going on as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I've got some of this rubber sheet which is designed for making mud flaps out of, actually, but I think I shall cut a strip of it and I'll rivet through. That will take up the space, the gap. Could be a little bit of a problem to get it in place, but I shall see what I can do. I'm going to do a bit of fiberglassing to fill in these extra holes, and I'm also going to sort out, I'm also going to finesse some of the joining. This is inside the rear wheel arch, and you can see where I've ground away the surface because the panel's been cut here, and I want to make that better connected. But actually there's another example here. That's the edge of where the panel was made, and if I had known more about how this car was assembled, there would have been less cutting needed. So here's obviously a join between two different panels, and inside the car it's been laminated over. So that's just another example of what I was talking about. If I had known, I would have not done so much cutting, I would have done more chiseling. Anyway, so I'm now going to mix up some fiberglass and do some patching. Right, it's still quite cold, so I've gone with 2% catalyst. That's because it's the end of the bottle. I've actually mixed up 180 grams, otherwise it would have been a bit of a silly amount left over. 180 grams of resin weighed out on the kitchen scales because it's got a nice accurate digital readout. Right, well that has actually already been done on the other side, but I'm going to go with another layer. One thing I will say is this car definitely needs an inner wheel arch that seals all this stuff from the road dirt, and I will see about that later. Right, that will do in there. And now we've got to move inside the car. So this is actually the other side of the same join. So I'm going to put some more up there as well. Right, that will do for that bit. That's been waiting to be done for a while. And now to the, if you like, main event, which was sorting out these holes I've got here. I know I just created them, but again I'm going to go with a minimal amount just for bunging these holes up. Trouble is, yeah. Trouble is the holes are a bit on the large side as well as being excess. I've got my green line here which shows where they should go. The other two are over here that I kind of object to using because they're distinctly out of line. One more like that. So those holes are blocked up and I'll be able to drill new ones. And here's another hole. As I remember, that actually had a fuel pipe coming through it. Well, I can't remember exactly where it went after that, but that's something which I will not be emulating. No, it's not wet enough. Or maybe it was wiring. Maybe it was wiring. But certainly something came through there in a rather surprising and somewhat unacceptable way. So sealing that up as well. Well, this is different because I've painted the back seat area. You might say that wasn't strictly necessary. It's going to be covered up by the seats, but I thought I would do it. It gives it a more solid look and perhaps arguably easier to see problems rather than that bare fiberglass look. Anyway, my main objective right now is to replace the rivets. You can see there's only two left after I fiberglassed over the holes, either because they were too big or in the wrong place. So I'm going to replace the rivets that were there, hidden under the fiberglass layer previously, and that will hopefully stop that banging to the rear chassis member. So I'm just going to drill those holes out, and I'll have to work out exactly where to put the new rivets. Now I did weld up, I should say, I did weld up the holes for the original rivets while I had the body off. So, well, I guess I'll be drilling through the weld with these two, but the other ones can go anywhere at all. So, time to get my large rivets out. Right, these rivets are 5mm, so that's what I'm going to go in my first hole with, which will be pretty much where the original one was. And it goes. Now the thing is, I want to make sure there's no drumming, or basically I want to use a piece of packing rubber strip between the back of the fiberglass and the chassis rail that's behind there. So I'm going to have to jack the car up and insert this rubber strip that I've got, and then put the rivet through the hole in the rubber and then into the chassis. And that could be quite tricky. Let's check my rivet goes in first then. Yes, it does. Nice big long one. So let's see if I can get my rubber strip into position. Luckily my rubber strip is quite a tight fit behind here in front of the chassis member. So I was able to kind of wedge it up there and then drill the hole through. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to rivet, except that I think this riveter's no good. bit just started to catch. There it goes. There we go. Tidy. And the other one next to it. Do you think this riveter's on its way out? With the end. Shouldn't do that. See if I can get it to go on. Yes, okay, good. Okay. Now the other holes have disappeared obviously as I've covered them over. This one in particular had multiple different holes, which is no good. So I'm going to plot a line. Will you believe it, my ruler is slightly too long. Okay. So I'll just plot a line based on these two. Okay, it's based on those two, but I'm also going to check it the spirit level. Which says that my line isn't quite level. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, that's pretty good. Same, these ones over here need to be slightly lower. But these ones over here are fine. Okay, so I just need to drill my, well, I'm probably going to do one more here. I'll do one more here. But I have noticed that the back of this seat area kind of curves forward slightly, and the reason it is fine fitting there is because this bows out towards the back of the car quite easily. So if I was to put one in right in the corner there, for example, that would be a problem, so I'm not going to do that. Between this one is seriously hard work because the handle's too short. This one, not too bad, but it's seemingly falling to pieces. Ugh. Okay, so that's that one done. We'll go for another one here. So I've got rid of the big riveter, more trouble than it's worth. Now, I had a trick to this, didn't I? I've just remembered. Right, so you use a clamp to squeeze a rivet gun, which means I can even push on it Okay. Oh. All right. Perils of big diameter rivets. Right, last one. I was fortunate in the ability to wedge the rubber strip. To wedge it between the chassis member and the fiberglass. And there we go. Goes in nicely. You can get the first squeeze in. Thereafter, the problem becomes this 2.5mm shank, steel shank on the rivet is too strong. So my clamping method I think I might come for another go. There we are, blinking heck. These large rivets are really tough with an ordinary riveter like that, but this provides extra leverage. So that's done, and now we have much more rigid back panel and certainly no rattling. There we are. Good stuff. And after all that, of course, it looks the same as it did before. One mystery though, these are Gilban trim parts, which are separate mouldings. A bit weird really. They're not the same each side for a start.